It's been a while since I set my alarm for 4 AM, made a beeline for a favourite road, and got there before sunrise.
And more to the point, before everybody else. So here we are, South Wales, first thing in the morning, and the road is deserted. Bit of an odd choice for a rise and drive video, this Audi RS4. Normally I choose something really serious, but an estate car?
This, though, is a B7 RS4. It raised the bar for fast Audis. It arrived in 2006 and answered a question many had been asking for a very long time.
That question being, did Audi even know how to build a truly engaging driver's car? Remember, this RS4 just about predates the sublime R8 sports car. Back then, fast Audis had tended to be quick, comfy, good to live with, but just unexciting to drive. With this car, Audi wanted to prove a point. Its engineers had had enough of car reviewers using words like numb steering, flat-footed, and the big one, prone to understeer. And so they decided to do something about it.
For instance, the four-wheel drive system is rear-biased with a nominal 40-60 split, though it could send more torque rearwards when necessary to sharpen up the car's dynamics. And it's got lightweight aluminium body panels at the front to take weight out of the nose and improve the handling balance.
So what's this thing actually like to drive? Well, it really does feel unlike any other Audi that came before it. It's so much sharper, so much more engaging, much more rewarding to drive. It's better balanced, it steers well, the ride is good. Yeah, there's a lot to like about the way this B7 RS4 gets along a road. Let's break it down a little bit. The engine is still way out in the nose of the car, actually ahead of the front axle line. When you open the bonnet and you see where that engine is, you think this car is just going to plow on in corners all nose heavy. But actually it really doesn't feel that way. There's a nimbleness to this car, an agility on the way into a corner that you don't expect. And actually it just tucks into a corner really keenly. At least it does to a point. When you start hammering this thing along a road at 10/10, then you start to feel the front end start to push wide. But that's at 10/10. Crucially, you can feel the grip. And that wasn't always the case with fast Audis. The steering, it's not exactly chattering away the way a Caterham steering does, but it's natural. It's got a good weight and rate of response. So you can pour the car into a corner with confidence, feeling the grip. There's good body control. There's a good ride. It smothers bumps pretty well. More than anything, this RS4 is just fun to drive. It was probably the first RS Audi that you could say that about. I remember what a big deal that 40-60 torque split was at the time. It was a real statement of intent from Audi to have a rear-biased four-wheel drive system, and you feel it. It's not as though this car wants to slide away from a corner under power. Not at all, actually, certainly not in the dry. But what you do notice, second gear, away from a tight corner, is that the car feels neutral. It feels balanced coming away from a bend. And that's really sweet. If it was a front-biased four-wheel drive system, the car wouldn't be anything like as crisp accelerating away from a bend. The manual gear shift is brilliant. It's easy to heel and tow well. It's just a nice, slick, well-sprung gear shift. It's satisfying. And then you've got the engine, the 4.2 litre V8. No, hold on. We can talk about the engine more in a moment. I've just realised that my favourite corner in all of Wales is up ahead. Funny things happen in this corner, but only if you get it exactly right. So let me concentrate. Hard on the brakes, get the downshift just so, turn in. Yes, that feels good. Here we go. Now we can talk about the engine. Whew. It revs beyond 8,000 RPM and it sounds wonderful. What a gorgeous engine this is. It's so good, it's worthy of a mid-engine exotic, not just an estate car.
It's an all-alloy, naturally aspirated V8 with variable valve timing. Audi says it produces 420 horsepower and 317 pounds-foot of torque. The RS4 and R8 use the same engine, but the motor in the R8 has a dry sump for two reasons. One, there's better lubrication on circuit, and two, it can be mounted much lower in the car to improve its centre of gravity.
Whether it's in the front of an RS4 or the middle of an R8, this 4.2 litre V8 is such a peach. It's a high revving engine. Beyond 8,000 RPM, it's not a torque monster. So you have to chase the red line, you have to get down the gears and really wring it out. But it's such a pleasure to do so. The power delivery is so linear, it just builds and builds and builds to the red line. Oh, I just love it. It sounds fantastic too. In both cars, it sounds so sweet. It's not shockingly quick, this R8, but honestly, I just don't think you need more performance on the road. It feels really quick, this thing. It doesn't stun you with its speed, but it just means you can enjoy the sensation of the acceleration for much longer. And of course, in this R8, it's paired to this exquisite manual gearbox, 6-speed with the open gate. It's such a sweet shift. And I love that click-clack sound that you get when you row through the gear ratios. The chassis is exceptional, the ride is supple, but body control is really good. The steering is crisp, hydraulically assisted, so there's a transparency, there's a level of communication that you just don't get from even the best electrically assisted racks. It's just an easy car to read, you feel confident in it, and it's just so much fun to thread along a great mountain road. I've long said that between 95 and around 2010 was a golden era for performance cars, and both of these Audis belong to that era. That's why they're so enjoyable to drive. They don't feel overcomplicated. They haven't got loads of systems that do all the work for you. You have to do the work in both of these cars. They don't feel frighteningly fast. They don't feel overtired, like they have too much grip. This for me is what driving is all about. I don't need more grip, I don't need more performance, I don't need a faster shifting paddle shift gearbox. I just need an original R8.
If the B7 RS4 raised the bar for fast Audis, the original R8 changed the game altogether. Both cars arrived in 2006. That was the year that Audi demonstrated exactly what it could do when it put its mind to it. Its cars could be so much more than just heavy, lifeless sledgehammers. In the decade and a half since, Audi Sport has had a few misses, but also plenty of hits. I'm not sure that would have been the case without these two. Thanks for watching this PistonHeads Rise and Drive video. Not yet subscribed to our channel? Go on, hit that subscribe button now.